All right, so that was Mpho Palatse speaking in Johannesburg today. Let's move now to the Western Cape, where Forestry, Fisheries and Environment Minister Barbara Creecy has slammed ongoing land invasions by the Khoisan community in Grabouw. Now, the group wants to establish a self-sustaining Khoisan community in the Elgin Valley. But the minister says her department now has to stop plans to create thousands of jobs in the area. Monique Mortlock has been following the story and joins us now from Cape Town. Good evening, Monique. So just talk to me about the background of the minister's plan for Elgin Valley and the ongoing occupations.
Now, this land is owned by the Department of Public Works and Infrastructure, but the Department of Forestry, Fisheries and Environment, they are the managing body of this property, because it's a forestry or a plantation. It is the department's mandate, or it was the department's mandate, to cultivate this land for a forest, to create jobs in this way. And yesterday, the DA, a DA MP issued a statement in which he basically said that government, national government, has failed in preventing the occupation of this land, and because of this, thousands of jobs have been lost. And now, the occupation of this particular parcel of land, it's about 610 hectares of land, of about 4,000 hectares that's under the custodianship of these two departments. The occupation started in 2020 with just a small group of people who moved onto the property from the Grabouw region, and they essentially moved there because they were they wanted to reclaim what they said had once belonged to the indigenous Khoi people, to their forefathers. It has since mushroomed with residents from other parts of Cape Town, as far as Mitchell's Plain and Manenberg, moving there, moving in onto the property. And when we were there, you just saw this wide expanse of land dotted with wooden structures, iron and zinc structures, and there were even roads carved out in between these structures. So they are now, according to the Theewaterskloof municipality, there's about 2,000 families living on that property. But the Department of Forestry, Fisheries and Environment, it has since taken out or applied for a containment order to stop any further occupants from moving onto the land. And when we were there, there was quite a strict contingent of security guards standing at attention at the entrance of what residents have dubbed as Knoflokskraal. And I spoke to some residents there, some of the leaders. They were locked in closed-door meetings to discuss the way forward. There are a wide variety of leaders, and many of the government officials who I spoke to said that much of the struggle when it comes to the mediation process and negotiations is because there are just so many voices saying that they are representing the people, so many people who say they are chiefs, they are kings, they are queens representing the people, and government is finding it difficult to mediate with all of these different voices. Let's just take a listen to Albi Modise from the Fisheries, Forestry and Environment Department.
Where forestry happens, jobs are created inevitably, but I can't put it at thousands of jobs. The fact is that where there's forestry, there often is job opportunities that are created, and people get employed in such a situation. So our view is that yes, indeed, there would be opportunities created, but we can't at this point talk about thousands of jobs. It would be very unwise of us to say thousands of jobs at this point.
All right, so they're being quite careful about how many jobs this forestry plan actually might create. But what is the way forward? I mean, you'd think if it's a job plan around forests and this is a community that wants to create a sort of self-sustaining way of living, you'd think, why can't the two coexist? But you've just explained to us some of the difficulties of trying to find out who actually is the person who can speak with authority for the group of Khoisan people. So what is the way forward, Monique? I mean, is this forestry plan off the table now?
It's certainly a complex issue, and one that both the Department of Public Works and Infrastructure and the Environmental Affairs Department are tackling in a delicate manner. Now, the Fisheries, Forestry and Environment Department, it says that it wants to continue with its plans to cultivate the land for a forest, to ensure that this is a key economic driver, as the DS statement implied yesterday. And in order for this to happen, evictions need to take place. Then you have the Theewaterskloof municipality. I spoke to the deputy mayor today, John Michaels, and he says the municipality is vehemently opposed to any evictions that may take place, any intended evictions. The municipality, in fact, is on the side of the people. And it's for this reason that the municipality wants to work together with national government, with provincial government, and with all other role players in the Grabouw, in the Theewaterskloof region. And this includes the farming communities, it includes the ratepayers associations that have all said, listen, we're okay with the community being there as long as there's order and structure, as long as there is a set, clear-cut plan, which is what the Department of Public Works and Infrastructure is now saying that it wants to do when all of these different role players come together to sit down and find a solution on the 3rd of October. So until then, it's all basically up in the air. But let's just take a listen to Albie Modise once again explaining what the department wants and what it needs to do when it comes to following that chain of command. Because as I mentioned earlier, while the Fisheries, Forestry and Environment Department may be the managing body of that land, it's still the Department of Public Works and Infrastructure that owns the land.
I entrusted with forestry management on behalf of the South African government. We would want to keep the land for forestry purposes. And that's why the proposal for alternative land where people can reside in a human settlement that will be great for that community. So the department would like to proceed with eviction of illegal land invaders, but that we can only do with the support of DPWI, because the department doesn't own the land, as correctly pointed out earlier on. The DPWI is the one that owns the land on behalf of the state, and would want to see them lead us on this one, and would gladly join in to support.
All right, well, I guess we'll have to see where that one goes. But any attempt to create jobs, provided it doesn't infringe on anyone's human rights and their rights to perhaps ancestral land, is certainly something we need to take seriously. Thank you so much, eNCA's Monique Mortlock, coming to us from our Cape Town studio.